Hey there, Sart here. I was chatting with the fellas before the beige carpet live stream recap that we did yesterday. If you haven't seen that yet, I posted a link to it in my community posts, or hopefully you're subscribed to Gert's channel already and you've already seen it. If you haven't, go ahead and hop on over to Gert's channel and subscribe so you don't miss any future beige carpet after parties. They're a lot of fun. I had a great time chatting it up with the guys before and afterwards, and of course during the live stream update. But in the process, I was talking with one of the other fellows that was there with us, Clad in Darkness. Also, he goes by the name of Dark Flare in some communities, and he's a big lover of Golbez, just like me. And so we were chatting it up, and I asked if he'd build a Golbez for me to take down Octomammoth, and he built a badass Golbez. Did not fail. Of course, I expected him to build a truly great Golbez. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, it's Clad in Darkness Gaming. I'll link it in the description below as well. Check his channel out. He does a lot of really cool Golbez clears as well. But I wanted to do this, and I'm doing this you know, for him because I know how much he loves Golbez, and so we're sort of sharing this the glory of Golbez here in this clear. And so I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. You'll notice I've got Sylvie in the party, and so I'm sort of using this to slowly work my way towards an Esther clear. Doing an Esther clear is going to be a bit tricky on this one, but I think we can get it done. But one of the things that has to happen is, you know, we've got to have Sylvie in the party so that Esther gets that LB modifier boost. And so I wanted to figure out how I could make Sylvie work as a provoke unit. You've seen in my previous clears I've used things like Kaito or Veritas of the Waters because they absorb water, and thus you don't have to worry at all about adding water resistance. So since Sylvie doesn't absorb water, we have to build her for water resistance. And it's not easy, because if you want your provoke unit to take 0 damage, they have to be built with 800% water resistance. You heard that right, 800% water resistance. Now that can be after a buff, so if you have like a really strong water resistance buff, then that's great. Like someone like Premium Ject would actually be really good for a provoke unit on this trial because he has a 200% water resistance buff, so you only have to build him for 600% water resist. And that's still a lot that you have to build in, and so I'm not going to get anywhere close to that with Sylvie, obviously, but she's still pretty tanky. That she can take the hits even with the imperil on certain turns. But yeah, it definitely took a little bit of work because there is going to be one turn where she's probably going to die, and we just have to work around that. So anyways, I'm working my way towards that Esther clear. I'm hoping I'll get that one out sometime this week. But anyways, enough talk about that. Let's talk about the gear here. So Sylvie is going to be our provoke unit. And so I gave her Dancer's Diadem just so I could take care of the provoke with one slot and use everything else on the resistances. And I'll go ahead and start by showing you the resistance. I got her up to 515% water resist. I even added the extra 20% resist on Leviathan Esper. That's what she's equipped with in her Espers. And so I put all the water resist gear I could possibly put on her, and I got her up to 515%. And that's in both forms. She's going to have the exact same gear in both forms. And so to do that, use the Dancer's Diadem to cover the provoke, and then just anything that had water resist on it. So like, you know, this is Lord of the Seas Nicole STMR. I think there are some other chest pieces that also have 50%, maybe even higher water resist out there. Shield of Light is really good because it's a high defense shield with 30% water resist. You know, unless you're getting the full 800% water resistance, you need to gear for defense and HP because all the attacks are physical, right? And so then the Sweet Earrings also give 30% HP, 30% water resist, so 2 of those. Sylvie's Sword is nice because you want to proc her Trustmaster, but you want to save the materia slot for, you know, that's where the majority of my water resist comes in, is from the materias. So Sylvie's Sword is great because it has high defense, and it does have actually 15% water resist on it as well. Yep, so it's nice, plus it gives her all these great flat stats, so it's a really nice one for her to have. And then all of these are just high water resist materials. So Prideful Incarnate is the highest, that's the biggest one that I have at 80%. And then the others are 60% water resist materials. And then I gave her her own vision card just because it has 30% water resist. It's the best card that I have with water resists on it. I wish I had one that also had like defense and HP on it, but you know, this is the best one that I have, and the water resist is the most important thing here. All right, and so like I said, same gear in both forms, but it can work. It's going to be a little bit tricky, and having Roberta on the team is going to make it a lot easier for Sylvie to make it through this fight. I don't think I could do it with Sylvie as the provoke unit without Roberta on the team, and I'll explain why once we get to the fight. All right, we've got Bulwark here. All he needs is 100% water resist, and then Call of the Wild in both forms. That way when he shifts back and forth, he gets that extra 8 LB fill every time that he brave shifts. So that's really handy for just making sure that his limit burst is up every other turn, because we're going to use that for our MP refresh for Golbez. All right, and yeah, pretty much same thing in both forms. All right, here's Golbez. So since we're bringing Sylvie, we can take advantage of the sword in peril. So Golbez is wielding the Dark Vision's sword. We gave him the Magister's crown for the chain cap boost, Emperor's ring for high stats, Curse doll for high stats, and then the Curse upgraded armor. Really important to have that, of course, because that is our only source of Dark Imperil. And it is the best Dark Imperil that I have. So that's what we're going with. Then the Aquan Killer's there, so he only needs 150% there to cap him off. And then Grim Brilliance is just for the TDH, so whatever you have for Mag TDH, throw that in there. Beach Party should cap up his MP and also give him enough water resist to be 100% at least. And then of course Dazzling Demoness, because that's what makes him so strong. So he's got 300% Aquatic Killer ready to rock and roll. Here's Roberta. So Roberta, I didn't go crazy with like a two-handed build here, so I just went with a standard dual wield build. She's not going to be doing any appreciable damage, really. I wanted to leave that all for Golbez so that he can handle the fight. So otherwise, you just need to make sure that she's got 100% water resist. So nothing too fancy going on here. My friend Golbez here, so Clad in Darkness built an awesome Golbez for this one. Right off the bat, you see he's 120% water resist, so he is good. He's got the Dark Vision sword as well, Ruler's crown, a couple of Magister's rings, so he's good to go there. Also wearing the Curse upgraded armor, even though he doesn't necessarily need it here, because my Golbez will be taking care of the Jet Black Curse ability. I always recommend, if you're putting a Golbez up as a friend unit, always equip them with the Curse upgraded armor, because it's nice to have for friend units out there, because maybe you don't have a Golbez but you want to use a really strong one, or maybe you want to make your Golbez a little bit stronger by putting like the cow chest piece on him or something like that, and that way your friend unit has the Curse armor for the Jet Black Curse ability. So really glad that that's on there. Thank you for that. You see he's got the Aquan Killers, he's got the Corrupted Mage for the chain cap, or sorry, for the TDH cap, and then Lucky Dog, I'm so jealous, he's got Magic Boost Plus. I still have not pulled a Dark Rain. I'm going to be so happy when I finally pull one, but I'm glad that he's got it on here, because that makes his rotation very, very simple for this fight. He's literally just going to do Magic Boost Plus, and then he's going to do a Meteor the next turn and go back and forth, literally just flip-flopping those two abilities. Makes this a very, very simple rotation for the friend unit. So glad that one is on there. Of course, Dazzling Demoness again, and 300% Aquan Killer. So we are ready to rock and roll. So let's get in here and let's see how we get this done. Should take somewhere between 10 and 12 turns. Just depends on how Variance Rolls want to treat us on this one. All right, so let's get in there. Alright, so Sylvie's just going to start by putting up her mitigation. So we'll do Elemental Petals, So that does physical mitigation for her, and it also does a water resistance buff. It's only 80%, but every little bit counts in this fight. We'll then do Paladin's Resolve and Compassionate Knight. We're not going to use her 85% mitigation until later on in the fight. Things get pretty dangerous in like the second half of the fight, so we're going to want to save that for later. Alright, Bulwark is going to go ahead and Dark Imbue the team and do Bulwark's theme to unlock his triple cast. Roberta is going to do Aquatic Killers, Mega Breath to unlock a quad cast, and Mystic Breath. I want to just quickly point out the reason why Roberta is very useful in this trial, not just for the Aqua Killers, but also Support from the Skies. That 5-turn cooldown ability does a 5-stack Mirage for the party. That's going to help Sylvie in a couple of instances. Also, the 2 skills at the bottom, Ignitos' Domain and Draconic Triune. Those abilities both do an Imperil removal for the party, and that is going to save Sylvie. It's really going to save her ass on several turns later on down the stretch, and so we will definitely be making use of those abilities. Ignitos' Domain is on a 5-turn cooldown. Draconic Triune is a Magnus that gets 2 uses per battle, and we will use them in this fight. Alright, so, but we're not going to use them yet, because we don't see, the boss does an Imperil every 2 turns, and then later on in the fight, it'll start doing it on like some other different turns, but it's usually safe on odd numbered turns. And so we'll wait to use those when we really need them. Alright, my Golbez is going to do the Jet Black Curse to set up the breaks. Give your powers to Meteor and Curse for the attack and mag breaks. You want to make sure we always have those attack and mag breaks up for the turns where Sylvie does actually take some damage, because we want her to take the least amount of damage as possible. Alright, my friend Golbez is just going to do Magic Boost Plus. Alright, so this turn should be harmless because there's no Imperils, and Sylvie is she's fully resistant to water. That one little attack you saw there was Bite. That is it's a non-elemental, single target physical attack that applies a damage over time. And so, but it's very, very weak. So Sylvie is in no danger of dying from that ability. Alright. Now Sylvie is going to shift. We are going to do Paladin's Offense and a double Clever Paladin Strike. Okay, so the Clever Paladin Strike does the 25% Sword Imperil. It is single target, however, so make sure you are targeting the head. The head is, of course, targeted by default, so unless you've like tapped on the tentacles or something like that by accident, the head should be targeted. As long as it says Octomammoth A down there above the health bar, you're fine. Alright, Bulwark is going to shift into normal. I'm going to let his LB fill up there, and then I'm going to get it ready, but I'm not going to use it until after Golbez has dropped his Meteors, because his LB is going to do that 35% MP refresh. Alright, Roberta is going to quad Mystic Breath, and we're going to drop a nuke. Now this one's not going to be particularly big, because as you can see, we only have an 87% break, and we only have 130% Dark Imperil. So the real damage is going to start on turn 4, when we get our full 150% Imperil and the 88% breaks. But this one should still shave off about 10 or 11% HP. Let's see how we do. Ooh, that was a good one. Nice. All right. So now Bulwark can use his LB. The nice thing about his LB is it also does a 60% general mitigation, which just helps Sylvie take very little damage. So the Imperil is going to come sort of like near the end. So most of these she will resist, and then the last few hits you see there, she took some damage. All right. So she has an Imperil now, and we're going to have Roberta remove that one. So we'll re-up our Aquan Killers. We'll do Ignitos' Domain, and then we'll just do, another Mystic Breath. All right, so you see Sylvie has, she's now imperiled by 105%. You may not think that's a really big imperil, but it definitely adds up. And on some of these turns, we get a lot of attacks. Turn 6 is going to be a brutal turn. And yeah, that 105% imperil, that's going to hurt Sylvie. She's going to be in trouble. So, you know, removing it when you can is really, really important. All right, so there we go. We gotten rid of that. So there she goes. She's all good. All right, Sylvie's going to come back now and do. We're just going to re-up her elemental petals, Paladin's Resolve, Compassionate Knight. So Compassionate Knight does a 20% MP refresh, which is very helpful for Golbez. So that's going to help him get up and running for next turn. Excuse me. All right, so now my Golbez is just going to do Give Your Powers to Meteor, Curse, and Osmose. My friend Golbez just does Magic Boost Plus. Bulwark's going to shift. And we're going to just re-up our Dark Imbue. It's always just a good idea to re-up that Dark Imbue. Moogly Mixtape to make sure his triple cast is always up. And Cacophony for some LB fill. Alright, so she's going to resist everything because there's no imperil. Alright, she will get an imperil this turn, but just like before, it kind of happens near the end, so really it's just like the last, like maybe 2 or 3 hits will actually deal any damage to her. So, Sylvie will now shift and do her Brave Shifted LB for the 400% mag buff. Well, it's a full buff, but of course the mag is the one that we're most concerned about. Bulwark will shift and get his LB ready to use. And Golbez will just get ready to drop a nuke. So it's a very simple rotation. I really like I really like Golbez in this situation because he's just very, very easy to use. All right, so we're just going to drop some nukes again. So this one should hit harder. We've got our 88% break, 150% imperil. This one should do some significant damage. Yeah, that's really good. So there we've already shaved off a third of the boss's health by turn 4, so we are in good shape to get this one done. All right, so we'll see how Sylvie handles this one. Yep, there she goes. So yeah, she took quite a few hits after the imperil on that one. Okay, so always good to keep that in mind to just kind of gauge how much damage she's taking. All right, we'll just once again do our elemental petals, Paladin's Resolve, and Compassionate Knight. Bulwark is going to come back and to Brave Shift form. So I'm going to use Mascophony on this turn because next turn there is a good chance that Sylvie's going to die. And so we want to make sure she has re-raise on her. And in fact, we kind of want her to die next turn so that it gets rid of the imperil. So we use Mascophony for the re-raise. We'll do our Shadow Serenade to re-up our Dark Imbue. And Bulwark's theme to maintain his triple cast. Roberta is going to do, we're going to re-up our Aquan Killer, our Mega Breath, and Draconic Triune this time to get rid of the imperils. All right, my Golbez is going to re-up the Jet Black Curse, so we maintain our breaks and imperils throughout the fight. Give Your Powers to Meteor and Curse for the attack and mag breaks. Friend Golbez just does Magic Boost Plus. Very easy. Just to show you where the arms are at, by the way, on this one. So the arms are pretty close, but we're never in danger of killing the arms before the head. So you don't have to worry about that. All right. So, okay. So on this one, we're gonna, of course, drop bombs. All right. But you see Sylvie took another imperil. That is okay. she is, like I said, she's most likely going to die on this turn, and that is actually kind of what we want, so that we get rid of the Imperil for the following turn. So this is also one of the reasons why we've been saving the Paladin's Defense ability, because that also does 5 stacks of Mirage. So that's going to help her evade a lot of the initial attacks. That way, what you don't want to happen is you don't want her to die twice, basically, right? So you want her to die once and re-raise and not die again. And so that's pretty important. So she is going to do Paladin's Defense and then double Clever Paladin Strike, and that should give us the Sword Imperil for the remainder of the fight, and we don't have to worry about that Sword Imperil anymore. Bulwark, as usual, shifts to normal and gets ready to do his, his Limit Burst. Okay, so we're gonna wait. Obviously, we do Golbez first, and then we'll do Bulwark, and then once Bulwark is gone, Paladin Sylvie will go so that she refills Bulwark's LB. This one should push the threshold, and as I mentioned, the boss gets fairly dangerous once you go below 50% HP because it does an attack buff that is undispellable, and it just starts throwing a lot more attacks at you. So it's gonna be a little tricky, but we'll see. I think we're gonna be able to get this done, no problem. Nice. All right, Bulwark can go now. Sylvie can go. Nice, that was a good one. 5 bill, yeah. Of course, we're hitting the arms as well, so you know it's kind of an artificial inflation there. All right, there she goes. Nice. That's exactly what you want to happen. You want her to die and re-raise, but not die again. So that could not have worked out any better. All right, what we're going to do now is we are going to do Paladin's Offense to maintain our attack and mag buffs, Elemental Petals and Compassionate Knight to refill Golbez. We're going to come back with Bulwark to re-up our Dark Imbue. We'll do Mascophony again just to make sure that re-raise is up again. Moogly Mixtape to make sure that we've got triple cast on our Bulwark. So Roberta will again reapply the Aquatic Killers, just want to make sure they're always up. Never have to worry about that. And then she doesn't really need to do anything else because Sylvie's not going to take any damage this turn because there is no Imperil on this turn, so we don't have to worry about like Mirage stacks or anything like that. So I'll just have her do a double Mystic Breath just to deal some damage. Golbez will do Give Your Power to Meteor, Curse, and Osmose. Friend Golbez just does Magic Boost Plus. Okay? And so that should have us up and ready to rock and roll. All right, so there you go. See, Sylvie took no damage, which is nice. And she doesn't have an Imperil either, so she is good to go. She's going to take an Imperil on this turn, however. Okay, but it really shouldn't do too much damage. So Bulwark can come back and prepare for his LB. All right, we'll do a double Meteor, quadruple Mystic Breath. All right, all of our breaks and imperils are in play. We should have a good mag buff. Yeah, looking good. Nice. Excellent. So we are good to go on this one. All right, let's see how much we do. I think this should knock off a pretty hefty chunk of damage. Nice. Yeah, we are looking good. Yeah, so there's a good chance we'll kill on turn 10 this time. If not, you just do another bomb on turn 11, but I'll explain once we get there. All right, so Sylvie can now do, we'll do Paladin's Resolve, Compassionate Knight, and we'll use Burgeoning Defense, so that gives her the 85%, that gives her the 85% general mitigation. And so that should definitely keep her safe, even with the Imperil. That should definitely help her survive. And so hopefully she'll be good for the rest of the battle. I don't think she should die again, but we did a Maskophony last turn, again, as a safety net. Okay, so yeah, you see that one wasn't particularly harsh. We got through that one easy enough. And so now we can just do, you know, so there are a couple of ways you could finish the fight. If you think you can kill on this turn, you can just have Bulwark Brave Shift use his, you can have Bulwark Brave Shift and come down and use his Electric Ensemble. That will do a 100% MP refill on Golbez. On both Golbezes. So you could go ahead and use that and drop another Meteor on this turn if you really think that you can kill the boss on this turn. I'm going to play it safe. I'm not going to assume that you're, that you've done this much damage thus far. I think I probably could kill on this turn, but I'm going to show you sort of the safer way to go to make sure that you get the fight finished, all right? But you could technically do that 2 turns in a row. You could just drop 2 more nukes 2 turns in a row, but what we're going to do is we're going to drop two meteors, one on turn 10 and one on turn 11. All right. So let's re-up our Aquan Killers. We're going to do our Ignitas's Domain to get rid of the Imperils, and then Mega Breath to unlock her Quad Cast. Actually, I don't think we need to bother with it. Yeah, that's all right. It's better to be safe than sorry, like I said. All right, so Sylvie is good now. She can shift, do her Brave Shifted LB, because like I said, we're gonna do 2 meteors, one on turn 10 and turn 11 to finish off the fight. So this LB will give both Golbezes the 400% buff for the remainder of this fight. All right, Bulwark is just going to do his usual. We'll do Shadow Serenade, Maskophony, and Bulwark's theme to make sure he's got his triple cast. All right, my Golbez will do Jet Black Curse to maintain breaks and imperils. Give your powers to Meteor and Curse. Friend Golbez just does Magic Boost Plus. And there you go. Sylvie takes 0 damage. You almost don't even need the Burgeoning Defense, but it was useful on last turn to make sure that she didn't take too much damage. All right, so there is a chance that I will kill on this turn. Usually I come up like, 1, 3, maybe 5% short on this turn, and then we just finish it off next turn. So if I do end up killing it, I'll just explain exactly what I do on the following turn, but I kind of explained it last turn where Bulwark will just use his Electric Ensemble, and, that pretty much covers it. And in fact, I'm going to use Electric Ensemble. I'm just going to go ahead and queue it up, because you would use it on this turn after Golbez goes anyways. Sylvie can then come back. She should still have all of her buffs and everything ready to go. So just to sort of make sure that she doesn't she doesn't die, you can just have her guard, and that should be fine. All right. So we'll just have her guard, because she should still have all of her mitigations, right? Yeah. And she's got her 1 more turn of her 85% general mitigation. But let's see if we kill on this turn. We might. Ah, Roberta finished it off. Nice. All right. Well, there you go. 10 turns. See, still 15% left on the arms, so the arms were close, but never in any danger of killing the arms first. So that's good to know. It's always an issue when you have AoE damage. You definitely don't want to kill the arms first, or else you'll be in trouble. All right, very well done. Thank you, Clad in Darkness, for that awesome Golbez. As you can see, his Golbez doing a fair bit more damage than mine. Of course, his Golbez had the Magic Boost Plus. Magic Boost Plus is really great on Golbez, and here's a good example of just how much better. I mean, that's a what is that? It's a 50% damage increase right there by having Magic Boost Plus on my friend Golbez. So yeah, Magic Boost Plus, I'm going to be so happy on that day where I just off-banner my first Dark Rain. You have no idea. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was entertaining or maybe even helpful. Maybe you want to try your own Golbez clear. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Stay tuned. I am going to try I'm going to get around to doing another installment in the budget Golbez Tour of Destruction. So I'd like to do the intermediate level trials for all of the 12 types trials that have come out. And so I need to get back into that and clear out those intermediate level trials with my budget Golbez team for you guys. And so I'll try to get that out for you guys at some point this week as well. And then also, like I mentioned, I'm working on an Esther clear for this trial. So a couple of things to look forward to coming up this week. So thank you guys so much for following me, and I will see you on the other side.